All right. Well, listen, that was a great chat, though. And like Ricardo said there, it's going to be a very, very different looking York next year. Even though they had a really good season last season. We've got another guest on. Look, it was three guests today. I'm so excited about this. I haven't spoken to Cara Lang for I don't know how many years now, a long time. Probably on the side of a training pitch many, many years ago. I think. Hey, Cara. How you doing? Welcome back to Footy Prime.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here, guys.
Wait a second. Hi, Cara. This is my first time meeting you, but isn't this your first time on Footy Prime, the original?
Yes, I've been on the podcast, but this is, I'm a first timer, yes.
Yeah, Dubbers has been hogging you, that's why. We say, can you get Cara on? Yeah, but for the broadcast, not for you assholes. She should be joining us soon. She's doing the open tryouts at Montreal Roses.
She's trying out herself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. She's going to sign herself, but she wanted to try out first.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's exactly what I'd expect.
Well, you know Dubbers better than anyone here. And I mean, 47, she could still play, couldn't she?
She's 47?
Oh, yeah.
More about that.
Oh, yeah.
You thought she was 57?
Oh, no, I just, time flies. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Cara?
When we were in Calgary, Dubs and Sharms had a race. You should have seen the state of both of them.
I won.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
She may debate that, but no. We were running towards the traffic lights from different directions because neither one of us wanted to be.
It was like 2 countries running.
Yeah. My hammy's still a little bit tight, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks as though you had rods in your legs.
I was never an athlete. And that was evidence right there. But yeah, how you doing, Cara?
I'm good. It's a little earlier for me than it is for you guys, but
right. Yeah, we appreciate that. We appreciate the sacrifice.
Thank you.
But, we'll make it well worth your while. I promise you. As we get into the MLS playoffs, resuming this weekend, of course. Before we get to the LA teams, I want to get your thoughts on Messi crashing out when they crashed out, when Inter Miami crashed out.
How about that, right? That was so fun to watch. So that night I had planned a surprise birthday party for my husband's 40th birthday. And we were waiting to find out if enough people had shown up, and a few people were texting, just wait a little bit longer. Let a few more people show up. Not everybody's here yet. And I'm like, okay. And we're sitting here watching the game, and eventually time just keeps going on and we're dying over Brad Guzan, I don't know what got into that guy. It was unbelievable to watch. I'm not sure he can pull any more rabbits out of his hat in the next round. I think that he spent all his rabbits on Messi and blocking Suarez with his chest like an absolute madman. But that was awesome. Sorry. I know that the whole 3-game series is meant to prevent massive upsets like that. And so I think they're going to need to go back to the drawing board on that one, because you've got the top 3 teams in the East all out. I'm not really sure what that means for the East. I'd like to hear what you guys think about that. There's so much talk about the East being so much stronger, at least at the top. And now you've got those top 3 teams all out. But yeah, I enjoyed that. That was fun to see.
I think it just shows how difficult it is to win the league and then go into the playoff system, and it shows the parity in the league, I think, and surprises. I think, what is it? Only 8 of the 26 charity shield winners have actually gone on to win the actual title. So it's a difficult league when you go into a playoff system.
Yeah, it's but that's exciting. I mean, it's always, you love a good underdog story. I'm certainly interested to see what Atlanta's got left going forward after that. That was pretty impressive.
I was thinking just how it feels for the league. They've made a icon. Well, he's already the champion of the world, but they put all of, they're gambling. They all on Messi, and Apple, all of a sudden, you're not going to get that viewership.
Yeah.
So I always think of it as for the growth of soccer/football in North America. Is it a good or bad thing? I always think of that way, because I don't have any, I don't have any money on Messi to win or anything, or Miami like that. But at the same time, you're sitting there going, God, is viewership going to drop? And
Yeah.
Apple is so cagey with their fucking numbers, right?
Yes,
They don't
yes.
tell us.
I mean, it's undeniable. It went from a game that was going to be viewed worldwide to a game that's going to be viewed in the US, like instantly.
Holy, I didn't even think worldwide. I was just thinking North. But yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah, because them dropping out was worldwide news. I mean, people were talking about it everywhere. That was a big deal, really big deal. And so yeah, it's not great for the growth of the game by any means. It's just, personally sitting there as a soccer fan, it's fun to watch a bunch of guys who have had a lot of calls go their way all season. I mean, how do you not give a card when they're shoving the goalie into the net like that? Craig,
how do you not give a card?
It's like a bunch of goons. Just
that was ridiculous.
All the time. If you're trying to at least make it look like you don't want Miami to go forward, when would you give a card other than that moment? Like that was unbelievable, but also very entertaining.
I really want to smirk at their exit and be happy about it as well. But like you said, the football fan of me is a bit disappointed, and I hate myself for that because I want to see Messi every single week, right?
I'm
just becoming a typical fan, right? But
I mean, one of the two LA teams against Inter Miami in the final, what a spectacle that would have been for sure. But it's like watching Suarez. I mean, I love him, but also hate him so much at the same time. There's good and bad to it as a fan, I think.
Who is that player for you when you play, Cara, that you respected so much, but you just hated?
Marta, for sure.
That was a quick answer. She's still playing, by the way, as you know.
Did you see that goal?
Unbelievable.
I watched it and I was like, oh, my knees hurt. How is she doing that?
Your knees always hurt, didn't they?
Yeah, that's true. But like, oh my God, how? Her and Sydney Leroux. I mean, Leroux's a few years younger, but the stuff that she's still able to do is just unbelievable. I mean, she announced her re-signing with Angel City, basically saying, I'm here until the wheels fall off. And she meant that. Like, that's literal.
Well, I was wondering about that, Cara, sorry. Dubs, Amy jumped on and Sharms and I were making fun of her because she made us feel bad because she put up some workout videos. And in our world, workout videos isn't inspirational. It's deflating.
Okay.
And, and how are your knees? How are they keeping up? Because Dubs is still pretty. How are you doing with old school injuries and how they have affected you as you've gotten older?
I feel very old. Very old. Not as old as Amy, but very old now that she's old.
Hey, Amy.
I can't run on flat ground, basically.
Oh, you can't?
Really?
No, I can't. I've got like micro fractures and stuff in my knees from all the ACL tears that just.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Yeah.
Are we talking replacement at some point?
Yeah, I was told that like 15 years ago I was going to need one. So yeah, probably not that far away.
So you and Ricky aren't joining the breakdancing seniors breakdancing in 10 years, 15 years.
No, we're interested in pickleball. We're building a house and we're like, we should put a pickleball court in the backyard. And then we were like, maybe we should try pickleball first and see.
It looks like fun.
So we're going to try it. We're going to test it out and see. Cause I don't know, even that might be too much lateral movement.
Like, it is.
Probably.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's all natural. It's a short court, right? So it's probably all natural movement, I bet.
Yeah. But I just have always thought of it as like ping pong on steroids, but I think it may be a little bit more.
It looks like so much fun.
Let's upset the pickleball people.
Sorry. Oh God. There's a lot of them. Yeah.
They're not listening to podcasts. They've still got the wireless on. Hey, before we get to Dubs and make fun of her, I want to get into this more Marta hatred you have. Why do you hate Marta so much?
It's not hatred. Okay, so you weren't here and Sharms asked me who was the player like Suarez that you hate, that like can really get under your skin. And for sure it's Marta and probably the rest of Brazil. I mean, just the tactics, the tactics that they have in their back pocket, the stuff that they do behind the whistle, the things that they're whispering in your ear. On set pieces, just like vulgar shit that you're like, I mean, I was like 15 and I was like,
well, we're here. Let's hear what this vulgar. Give me a
no.
Come on.
In Portuguese or in English?
Both. I mean, I don't think it matters. You can tell the message they're trying to get across.
Tell by the intonation, right? What they're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, hear you. What did you say? I have no idea, but I got the tone of it.
It wasn't very friendly.
That's right.
No. Or PG. No.
So Dubs, sorry, did you make it? Did you?
No,
Make the cut?
I just got let go. That's why I was able to jump on the podcast. I had a quick cry and then I hopped on.
Well, there's always next year, right, Dubs? You're not the big 5-0 just yet. You got some good years left in you.
Still hope. No, as I said, I think a couple pods ago, the league would be in a lot of trouble if I was a viable candidate to play on the team.
I think they'd love a Hall of Famer. They'd love a Hall of Famer. I think it'd be good for the branding of the league for sure. Anyway, to MLS there, Cara. So LAFC against Seattle, Galaxy taking on Minnesota. Let's start with LAFC, who played really tough by Vancouver. In fact, I think Vancouver scored more goals in the 3 games overall because of that second game, of course. Is there anything to worry about for LAFC, who many have as the favorite right now?
Yeah, they are the clear favorite, and I think for good reason. LAFC has home field advantage, which is massive in MLS, but especially for LAFC. I don't know if any of you guys have caught a game at BMO Stadium in LA. Have you ever been there?
Not yet.
The atmosphere is insane. It is the most fun atmosphere that I have experienced in the US. And I think that plays a huge role. And they have home field advantage through to the final if they keep winning. And so I think that's going to be huge for them. I think the fact that Seattle has not beat LAFC in 10 matches. I mean, they've won 10 straight games against.
You just jinxed them, Cara. You know that now.
I know, because the streak's got to end at some point, and
That's
what a
right.
shame for it to end now. But I mean, the last time Seattle beat LAFC was 2020. So that's got to be looming in the back of their minds a little bit. And LAFC's just got so much depth. We saw it against Vancouver. First of all, they took a lot of flack for not beating Vancouver decisively, but I think that's people not giving Vancouver enough credit. It was a very good team, and they caused a lot of problems for LAFC, but to LAFC's credit, they were able to solve it eventually. We saw it in the second half, just how many options they have, both personnel and tactically. They changed from a 3-4-3 into a 4-3-3 seamlessly. They sorted out those numbers in the midfield. They brought on players like Edward Atuesta and Olivier Giroud. I mean, yes, he has not scored yet in league play, but what a scary prospect for a team in the second half who's holding on for dear life to see a world-class player like Olivier Giroud coming off the bench. So I think that just speaks to the wealth of depth that LAFC has and the options that they've got. As far as Seattle, I think it's going to come down to who scores first, really, and if Seattle's able to nick a goal early and then sit back, because they're very defensively sound. Defense is definitely their strong point. They ended the league with the league's best defensive record, allowing only 35 goals. Attacking wise, they're not much of a threat. I mean, Jordan Morris and Albert Rusnak have 23 goals between them, but they're just pretty spotty, pretty inconsistent. You don't know what you're going to expect. And as far as confidence heading into this game, I can't imagine Seattle is super confident heading into it after their round 1 against Houston. I mean, Houston all but gifted them that round. They had a red card in each of the 2 matches. Carrasquilla and Ache, you guys must have seen the spitting incident where he spat at the ref. And so they were down a man in both matches. And so can't imagine Houston feels great. They didn't do much to impress in that first round. But if they are feeling themselves, then the 3-week break in between games for them has got to be a momentum killer at least. So, I think this is LAFC's game to lose. The only way they do is if they come out flat to start the game like they did against Vancouver in game 2.
You mentioned about the atmosphere. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead,
No.
Dubs.
I'm going to go because there's construction and it's a bit of a nightmare here. So I wanted to get this question in quick. First, I wanted to say, does Ache always look like he's going to atch a plan? I had to get that in. And then so Cherundolo shifts to a 4-3-3 and to get some semblance of pitch control against Vancouver. And it was arguably their best half of that 3-game series. I don't know, I'm not familiar enough with Seattle to know what they're going to throw at LAFC, but do you see Cherundolo going with more of that, which seems counterintuitive which is how they normally have success, which is hitting teams on a counter?
Yeah, I can't say which he will do. I think that in order to break down Seattle's backline, which is so strong, I think that you might see the 3-4-3 just because it allows them to stretch the pitch so much, and it allows guys like Denny Bouanga and Matej Bogusz to get in 1v1 positions, which is exactly what you want with those guys. So I can see them starting in a 3-4-3, and the fact that they can transition and adjust so seamlessly is just, he knows he's got that in his back pocket. I think that they can do it on the fly. It doesn't even need to be at halftime. So I don't see why you wouldn't, especially because you need a good start, as LAFC in particular, because they're not great when coming back from behind. So to score first is crucial for them. So I would imagine that they start in that 3-back with the 2 wing backs getting very high, just because it will allow them to be that much more of a threat in the attack, which is how they're going to beat Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Craig.
I was going to ask you about you mentioned about the support, and the stadium certainly has been fantastic. The way it's built, the steep end zone is magnificent. It's not overly big, but in Los Angeles with the Galaxy and LAFC, is it part of the city that supports Galaxy and a different part, like you see sometimes in Europe, or is it just basically people that came on late and loved the LAFC situation and joined in? Is there anything in that, or is it just geography?
It's interesting. I mean, it's part of its geography because LA Galaxy Stadium is in Carson, California. It's technically not like in the heart of the city the way BMO Stadium is. LAFC is right downtown, right in the heart of the city. And I think that it's just in general a club that people identified with instantly. I mean, they've done a lot to embrace the culture in LA. And they've really embraced that role as like the bad guy. It's very clear. I mean, Galaxy wears the white, LAFC wears the black. It's like Galaxy's like the Disney of MLS. And yeah. They've sort of, I mean, they're early MLS. It's like a little bit corny and it works to their advantage in that it's very family friendly, where LAFC is not necessarily so, but it's certainly like good versus evil in a way, like and it's just it's a really cool dynamic, but it's I think it's a lot of new fans. It's a lot of people that weren't really that high on MLS that finally found a team in the MLS that they could identify with, that felt like maybe a little bit more authentic. So it's less people leaving the Galaxy and becoming LAFC fans, and more just fans who'd been waiting for a team that they could call their own, I think, in LA. And there's just, LA is so massive. It's not hard to find enough people to support 2 teams at all.
It must be super fun too, Cara, with Tills Be Real. They have a real hip hop kind of urban feel, and bad guy versus good guy. It kind of like really embraces the kind of dirtier side of.
Yeah, it's a little seedy.
Yeah.
It's everybody wears their jackets to the games.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's a very cool atmosphere, and I think it's just you've got options. Like I say, Galaxy is more family friendly, but there's tons of kids that are into LAFC too. Like it's just they've embraced the culture in a way that I think was really important. And it's just, you can see the different, you go to a LA Galaxy game and they've got like EDM DJs, and it feels like a little bit like a rave. Whereas you go to an LAFC game and they're playing old school hip hop and Spanish music. I mean, they've really embraced the Hispanic culture in LA. And so it's really just speaks to a lot of people.
Is there edge between the fans, or is it still pretty, North American, a little bit sanitized as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit sanitized. I don't think it goes much beyond like Twitter battles and Galaxy fans calling LAFC fans like Chivas 2.0 and stuff like that. And I think beyond that, it's not scary by any means.
It's great for the city to have 2 teams in Los Angeles, though, isn't there? I mean, they could probably have 3 or 4.
Yeah, El Tráfico, the crosstown derby is electric. It happens a few times a year. It's not like it's like a once a year thing. It happens multiple times, and every every game, it is just unbelievable. And it never matters which team is on form, which team is doing better, because for years, past few years, Galaxy has not been a top contender in the league, but they always show up for El Trafico. So you always, you're going to get a good game when these two teams come together, which is why I think a lot of people are hoping that both of these teams win their next games, and you see a Western Conference final between the two LA teams.
Yeah, Apple, for example, given what happened with Miami. But you're right. I mean, that would be great. El Trafico in the semifinals. So we've decided that LAFC are probably going to beat Seattle. Is it Galaxies to take against Minnesota?
Yes, I think so. I mean, Galaxy is also the clear favorite. They're the only team to absolutely dominate in the first round of the playoffs, 2 decisive wins against Colorado. They're also undefeated at home, the only team in the league to be undefeated at home up to this point. So that's huge. I mean, they have turned Dignity Health into a fortress, EDM music and all. They could not be more confident heading into this game either. I mean, you've got Ricky Puig, who we've known for years what a phenomenal player is, but he's finally got top tier talent around him. You've got MLS Newcomer of the Year on the right in Gabriel Peck, Joseph Paintsil on the left, who is just with blazing speed. I mean, they've got the speed on the flanks, the finesse down the middle. They can score at will. A big criticism of them over the years and even this year is that their defense is a little shoddy, but I think that at this point, their attacking line has answers for every goal that or defensive mistake that they make. And so it's really doesn't make much difference at this point when you can score at will the way that they do. As far as Minnesota goes, they've got 7 players coming back from international duty, but I talked about that 3-week break in between matches because of this ridiculous playoff schedule in the MLS. And so I'm not sure if those 7 players on international duty actually will work in Minnesota's favor or not, because now they've got 7 guys who actually have competitive matches under their belt. Maybe they'll be a little less rusty. There is a concern that Galaxy could be a little rusty coming into this game. And we know it could be looming in the back of their minds too, that they've had 3 weeks off. Ricky Puig and Gabriel Peck have both been very open in the media about their disdain for this 3-week break. So it's clearly something that's on their minds. I think this game's just going to be all about who finds the rhythm first. And my money is on Galaxy. I think for Galaxy to lose this match, they just have to.
Footy picks. It's Footy picks. Sorry, Cara Lang is picking Galaxy.
Yes.
We need to change this format, right? This playoff format. I mean, the players are right. It's pretty dreadful, isn't it?
It's bad. 3 weeks, it's crazy. I mean, it's an off season. And now you got to come back. And especially if you're a team like Atlanta or like Seattle, that you're running on momentum, or you should be running on momentum. Like, where's it all gone? Poor Brad Guzan. He's like, has he even slept yet? Since
Does he sleep?
I don't know. I want whatever he's having.
He's still recovering from being thrashed into his own net from Suarez, right?
That, exactly.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. No, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
Hey, remember that, you guys?
Remember?
I was going to ask you, though, Cara, about Ricky Puig. Do you think, because Sam Piet for CF Montreal has the best shirt tuck going, I think he worldwide, but Ricky Puig gives him a good run for his money, right? That's a strong tuck.
It's a tight tuck. It is a very
shorts.
tight tuck. Yes. Ricky Puig, he's a short king, as they say.
You need a good ass, don't you? A good ass and a thin waist to do the tuck properly.
But you also need the clips at the bottom. There's got to be the straps.
You think he's got a bodysuit?
Yes.
Yeah. Like girls wear that little
bodysuit. It clasps underneath.
I had no idea what you were talking about.
Small wiener, small balls.
One
You need a small wiener and a small balls too.
With a huge ass, but a tiny cock. There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's get Rhonda Brownlee. Cara's like a super fan of Footy Prime. She's the best, and she does these mock-ups. She's so good with Photoshop. So we need to see a Dan Wong in a bodysuit.
Oh God, yeah.
The world needs to see a Dan
Just
Wong in a
go
bodysuit.
Andy Samberg and Justin Timberlake for the Beyonce
SNL.
Yes,
that's true.
That's what I would look like.
I just fear that Wong has indeed at some point worn a bodysuit before. I'm pretty certain he has, and that image is not great. especially early in the morning.
I want to say yes just for the fans, but I haven't.
OnlyFans, maybe. There you go.
There
you go. Wongo's bodysuit video, OnlyFans. It'll do really well, I think.
What about the goalkeeping, Cara, with Minnesota? Quickly, sorry, Sharman.
That's a quick right turn, isn't it? Jesus.
Well, no, but we talked about Guzan, but with St. Clair, like coming up with those massive saves from Minnesota, and also you talked about their momentum and the run that they're on.
Yeah,
like playing the kind of perennial underdogs, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Dane Sinclair coming off of full 90 minutes with the U.S. as well. I mean, that's going to be massive for him. I think, I just don't know. Sorry, Craig. I just don't know if a goalie is going to change a game in that way. In that way, like it was. I think that's
don't disrespect. Don't disrespect us.
I just think it can't just be a good goalkeeper, especially when you've got so much attacking prowess like Galaxy does. It's not just one guy who's going to be hammering at you, and it's finesse. They finish like the way they finish, the goals that they score are just quality goals. So yes, I think maybe we won't see quite as many from Galaxy, but I again, they'd have to lay a pretty massive egg to
Dane Sinclair, he'll certainly be busier than he was for Canada. We faced one shot in two matches.
Yes, Canada. Sorry.
Always the same thing.
I know. I live here, but I am not claiming.
Before we leave, I must apologize for Jimmy's Irish goodbye.
What the heck?
Yeah, he had to leave, and I thought he would have said goodbye to us all. He didn't. He just said, "I'm out of here," and just gone.
He typed it. He typed it out.
Yes, Cara, thank you so much. This is great.
Thank you guys. Yeah,
and thanks for allowing the regular original Footy Prime to enjoy your company as opposed to just the broadcast. So
Amy, when do I get to come on the broadcast again?
You have an open invitation. You're always welcome.
That doesn't work. That doesn't work. It doesn't. Come on,
we're gonna give an open invitation to Cara too when if Dubs isn't feeling up to it, or even if she is, we just slide Cara in. She just has to up her swear words just so we get the threshold of 72 swear words per podcast.
She's married to a baseball player. Of course she knows the swear words.
Oh yeah. Cara can swear with the best of them. And I'm mic'd up today for the tryouts, so there's been lots of swears. So I'm just like, motherfuck. I'm sorry, guys. That's me. It's like just being, whether it's a footy podcast or you're on the pitch, whether on it competing or like on the touchline, like the swears go up exponentially. Yeah. I don't know what it is about it.
I think it's us. Yeah.
Any plans to come to Toronto, Cara?
We'll be there at over between Christmas and New Year's.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We've got a house in Port Credit.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's where you're from, isn't it?
I'm from Oakville.
But, same thing. Port Credit, Oakville, basically the same. Like Canada and the States, right?
Exactly. Oh my God.
Cara, thanks so much for this. Yeah, we'll chat soon.
Thank you.
And enjoy the remainder of the playoffs and this great playoff structure that we're all enjoying.
Thank you. You guys too.
Thanks, Cara.
Great.
Thanks,
Cara.